It's been a long time since I've been able to start the video off frame and then proceed to walk into it. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with Swaggelhouse. And this is the room. It's the new room. Get used to it. Because now you have to look at my stupid face once again. In front of this black wall with the sign and the comic books and all that stuff. It's work in progress, okay? It's not done. I have a big gap up here. I have some artwork that I got framed. I'm waiting for that. I ordered some furniture pieces that I'm trying to, get in here. And I got a bunch of trade paperbacks and all this stuff that's just sitting on the floor right now because I don't have space for it. So we're putting the room together. But the fact that the sign is up, I kind of felt like, hey, we can kind of bring it old school, bring it back to me doing show and tell videos once again. Although, if I'm being honest, not doing my hair and doing faceless camera videos is so much easier. But in this video, we have just a few books I've picked up recently over the last couple weeks that I thought might be kind of fun to share with you guys, flip through them. They're all in pretty good shape, I was raw dogging some of these pickups recently, and so I thought it'd be kind of fun to do a little bit of show and tell, but more importantly, just kind of have a chit chat with you guys, talk a little bit about, comic books, states of the market, what's going on these days, and comic collecting land. Some of you guys enjoyed my hiking video. I thought that was kind of fun, and I enjoy it too, like just doing a little bit of a shoot from the hip type of thing. So we're going to do that in this video here today. I don't know, you put me on in the background or whatever you guys are doing, bag and board, and I'll just kind of ramble for 15 minutes as I show you guys my pickups. Look at this. Fantastic 449. First full Galactus. Pretty clean copy, if you ask me. It's got a little bit of that whole kind of punch scribble thing in the F, and then a little color break in the corner up there. If the camera wants to focus, I'll show it to you. Either way, really nice presenting copy overall, and really happy to pick this one up. I guess I'll start here with the video, as I kind of do a little show and tell. Maybe we can actually flip through them because, raw book, why not take a look? But, there's two things that came to mind recently with regards to comic books and collecting, and one of them was spurred from when I picked this book up, which I got this one at an LCS, and the guy who runs the LCS, when he sold this to me, he kind of threw out one of those statements that we've heard before, you don't see these books show up that often these days. And it's kind of one of those funny things because, he's more of an old school guy, and I understand where he's coming from when he says stuff like that, but he's also not online. So if you are online, and you follow consignment pages and you follow heritage auctions, literally you see this book every week. Right? Nothing is rare, as we've established here on the channel before. But, if you are somebody out there who has been in this collecting game for a long time, it does feel like, you don't see these books anymore. And I think it was one of the interesting things because it sort of dawned on me, with comic books and the COVID comic book boom, how much a lot of these books have been unearthed, in the comic book hobby. There's your splash page right there. Check out that Jack Kirby art. There it is. They see Galactus. Galactus was one of my all-time favorite characters when I was a kid. It was like Galactus and Thanos. I was a big Silver Surfer fan, and I remember reading the Steve Englehart Silver Surfer run. So anytime Galactus, Thanos, or Silver Surfer were involved, I was all in on their books. But this is such classic Kirby art right here. Anyways, as I was saying, so many of these books were kind of like unearthed, the COVID boom. Like we took the couch, we shook it out, and all the quarters started falling. All of the basement collections came out of the woodworks. Any book that had value, that needed to be graded, or finally that was the time to sell it, it found its way into the market. Maybe once upon a time, there was a day where a book like this, it's like you just didn't see them. And it's not to say that they were rare or that they didn't exist. It's just that they were sitting in people's basements. And for what they were selling for, nobody rolled out of bed to, show them, because it didn't actually matter. And then when things got expensive, it was like, holy crap, I better send this into CGC, or I better list this thing on eBay all of a sudden. And we basically got 3 or 4 years of that, where so many of these books just kept hitting the market. And even though there were tons of them, we really got oversaturated. And so now we're kind of like in an interesting place where there's so many copies out there, but there's just not enough comic book buyers. There's not enough greater fools willing to buy these books. As the saying goes, the greater fool theory, The only way that the book is going to go up in value is that there's somebody who's willing to pay more for it than the last person. And there's just too many of them on the market right now. So you have to sort of wonder, will these books ever really bounce back? I think this thing would grade out to be like an 8.0 or an 8.5. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. I think if it gets that, I'd be very, very happy with it. Considering what I paid, which was $1,100, I felt like that was a really, really good price for that book. Even if it gets a 7.0, I think I would still be pretty, in the green, so to speak, with my purchase. But yeah, it was that coupled with, I was talking to Ryan on Automatic Comic Books, and, we often share a couple books going up for sale, and, things that, are being sold on Instagram. And there was a book, that was there, and it was Tomb of Dracula 10 in a 9.4 grade. Very, very nice looking book, high grade, super clean copy. And I don't know, the price was like $2,600 or something like that. And it's just sort of like, how cheap are these things going to go? Like nobody wants this stuff anymore. There was a time when people were spending $7,000 on it, $8,000 on it. And again, it just has to do with the fact that I think that so many of them have been shaken out of the coffers. Avengers 71. This is one of my favorite books of all time. First appearance of the Invaders. Great Sal Buscema art. I really, really enjoy what he did here with the Black Knight. Check that out. This is actually the issue where while all the Invaders and Avengers are going to battle, Black Knight is doing things and beating up Kang. Man, remember Kang the Conqueror? This is what we all thought we were going to get. I thought we were going to get the Kang the Conqueror storyline here with the Grand Master. It was all shaping up to be that, but it doesn't seem like it was meant to be. And there you see it. Black Knight defeats Kang right up there in the... Oh, wait, there you go. Right there, top pages. And then Thor says, hey, man, you're pretty decent. You should join us. And there he is, joining the Avengers. It's good to see Black Knight joining the Avengers in the comic books, because where it stands right now, it doesn't seem like he's going to be joining them anytime soon. Do you guys think that Kit Harington is ever going to show up in a Marvel movie again? I feel like they probably would want him to, but at this point, do they even want the Black Knight anymore? I don't know. Avengers 57, first appearance of Vision, at least the Silver Age Vision, the one that we know. Another clean copy that I was able to pick up for myself. I think I bought that 71 for, I don't know, it was like $60 or something. So anyways, going back to, oversaturation of these books on the market, and you just don't see these things anymore. It's interesting. And today is Wednesday, or at least when I'm probably going to put out this video, it is Wednesday. And Wednesday is always a new comic book day, right? And there's just something that I was thinking about, and it sort of just makes you think, makes you wonder, like every single week, new issues hit a comic book store. So that means one of two things. Either the current comic book collector / reader base has to be willing to add those new comics to their collection, or new readers and new collectors have to be coming into the hobby to absorb all those new books. And this is a compounding thing that happens every week in comic books. And so when you're talking about the comic book collecting world having to absorb all of these things, can they do it? Does anybody want this stuff? Look at this. This one definitely needs a press, but it's a pretty clean copy. overall, really, really clean copy. I definitely was one of those people where I don't have to have like super high grade copies of books. But I remember having a conversation where somebody was like, color breaking creases kill it for them. Like they would rather have stains or spine ticks. And I was always somebody who's like, really? Like, I don't mind a dog ear occasionally. Once you get a book where it's like, oh, the art is completely undamaged, I mean, it is really nice to look at. A few spine ticks on this guy, right up there along the seams. But again, not bad. Has to be cleaned in the back. And yeah, this is another book, Vision. Has really, really fallen off. Nobody wants this thing anymore. You guys see the first panel of Vision right there. This is a great panel. This would be, I think the original art actually sold of this thing not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember what it went for, but that would be a really awesome piece to own. First appearances of original art panels, is like another sort of like speculation thing, which, we're going to do more art content in the future, and we'll talk about that. But again, here's another book that it's just not that rare. There's not that many people that, can absorb these types of things, especially in the mid-grade. See some Ultron panels right there. Very cool. Especially in the mid-grade. And so many of these books have flooded. And if you look at this one, this is another one where it got a big inflate in 2015 when we got the Age of Ultron film. This book and Avengers 55, the first appearance of Ultron, those ones went even higher in some cases than their 2021 COVID prices, which was pretty wild to see some of that. And I was always, thinking, okay, are we ever going to be able to recoup some of those values, or, are we ever going to be able to hit some of those peak prices for some of those books, later on when these characters return? I was always interested in that. And even in 2021, I think the Ultron book maybe started to flirt a little bit with its values of 2015, but it still has yet to hit some of those numbers. And again, I think it has a lot to do with, can the market absorb it? Are there new people that don't have copies that are going to want copies? And ultimately, what ends up happening is all of the copies get unearthed from collections and sent in for grading. Because what happens is like when things get valuable, then people are then motivated to sell it. Again, if you have your book of Iron Man and Submariner #1, and a very nice, clean, high-grade copy right there. Look at the gloss. It's funny. I feel like cover gloss is one of those things that old school collectors talk about. Cover gloss. They're like, oh, cover gloss, it's so good. But like, now that things get thrown in slabs, like nobody cares about cover gloss anymore. It certainly, you can have a glossy versus an unglossy cover, and it doesn't really even factor that much into the grade overall. But anyways, what I was saying is, when those books get value, then people get motivated to sell them. If your Iron Man Submariner 1 is only $100, then it's like, I can list it at a later time. But if all of a sudden it's $2,000, then yeah, you're going to spend the time, you're going to spend the energy to send it in for grading. And so everybody did that. And that's where we are right now. And I kind of wonder, like, how many books, how many keys out there are being held by true collectors versus being held by comic book dealers? There's no way that we would ever really be able to know that. But that's something I wonder a lot about. And this is, again, another thing that I mentioned in my hiking video, talking about dealers selling to dealers. And you see this especially in the Golden Age kind of books, or really high grade kind of rare comic books, that a lot of these things are being bought by dealers. And you just sort of wonder, like, how many of these things are they sitting on? All the books that have been, graded, and all the 9.8 copies of Giant Size X-Men #1, and all the potential 9.9 copies that could be out there. How many of them are being held by collectors, and does this stuff ever really dry up? You know what I mean? I don't think it is, because I think a lot of dealers are the ones that are buying it, and they're the ones that are motivated to sell. Shout out to A1. Got this one at a little bit of a garage sale sort of thing, little swap meet thing. Nice copy. He called it a VG. I think that that's probably fair. I think it actually could get a little bit better if you cleaned it and pressed it. But this is the kind of copy that, for me, it's just for me. You know, I'm happy with a mid-grade copy. You know, that's another thing I think about too. It's if you ever get a high-grade copy of something, you know, if you ever hit a giant size X-Men 1 and you find something like that, and then you get it graded and you get a 9.8, you should probably sell it. You know what I mean? I mean, maybe it doesn't matter. If you're loaded and you can just sit on it and it's nothing to you, then it's nothing to you, right? And you just keep the book. But I don't know. I feel like it's kind of better in a lot of situations where pick up the 9.2, you know, pick up the 9.4, sell the 9.8. That's for the rich collector to hold on to. Have you guys read Giant Size X-Men #1? Did you guys like the story? I thought it was pretty good. It's been a while. I've actually never read the physical version. I've only read the online version. But I remember kind of liking it. Although, I don't know, that was like years ago. Maybe it hasn't aged as well as I thought it did. Anyways, that's a little bit of my comic book haul, some of my pickups, a little bit of a market ramblings. I don't know. I don't even know what I said at this point. But I kind of wanted to just hang out in the room with you guys for a little bit and show you guys some books. And the fact that they're raw, you can actually open them up and take a look at them with you guys together. But yeah, it's something, you know, to finish on and think about where we are with comic books. I think I'll probably title this thing, you know, We Need More Fools. We need more greater fools. And really just being the joke of like, you know, who's going to buy this stuff? Who wants this stuff? I know I do. I definitely want it, which is why I buy it. But there's a lot of books out there that got shaken out from the COVID times. And a lot of collections have been unearthed. And it doesn't stop. It always feels like there's another collection out there. You know what I mean? And this is some of the risks with a lot of these types of books. Giant Size X-Men #1s. How many raw 9.9s do you think there are in the comic book market? Just sitting in boxes in basements. 5? 10? 1? 0? Or hundreds? I don't know. Anyways, that's all for this video. That was me just hanging out, talking about my comic books. Are there any fools out there that want to buy this? Well, mine aren't for sale. But there's a lot of them that are. Anyways, I'm going to end it now. How do we feel about this? I put the shelves up, and I intentionally have an art piece that I wanted to put up there, but I don't know if it's going to look right. I don't know. I don't know if I like the lighting. The window's over here, and I don't want to turn on a light in my face, and I could get a ring light and do the whole thing, but I don't like that vibe. I want the vibe to feel kind of crappy. You know what I mean? Like the camera I use is the Logitech C920 or whatever. It's like your very, very, you know, standard webcam thing. I don't want to get a whole thing, make it all nice and look all YouTube-y. Do you guys like that YouTube look? I think that would probably be better. I think more people do like that thing. You know, with like music and zoomer editing and all that stuff, but I don't like it. I kind of like when it just feels like we're in a room and the camera's on and it looks fine and maybe the sound is a little echoey, but I feel like that's more real. Anyways, I should probably wrap it up now. This video has been going on way too long. Hopefully you guys didn't mind looking at my face once again. More of my face to come in future videos, unfortunately. I'll have to do my hair now. Anyways, that's all I got. Like, comment, subscribe. What are you guys picking up? We need more fools. How are we going to get them? You must be an ambassador to the collecting hobby. Or maybe Galactus is going to be awesome in the Fantastic Four movie. Or Dr. Doom's going to be awesome. There's going to be more people that want to buy comic books. We'll have to see. Anyways, that's all I have for this one. Like, comment, subscribe. See you on the next video.